Welcome to Fertility Village. This is your weekly live talk show where community and support come together. With rotating hosts, expert guests, and meaningful conversations, we're here to guide you through the highs and the lows of infertility. Whether you're searching for answers, seeking advice, or just looking for a special place to belong, Fertility Village is your space to connect, learn, and grow. Because it really does take a village, and we are here for you every step of the way. Thanks for joining.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Fertility Village Live. Today's episode is all about a path to parenthood and a surrogacy story. We're joined by an incredible guest, one of my friends, Irene.
Hello,
Irene. She, AKA, if you follow her on Instagram, she's Womb Mate for Life. She's an intended mom. She's a cancer survivor. Her story is so powerful, so deeply inspiring. She's here to share her journey through her diagnosis, loss, hope, ultimately finding her way to surrogacy, and the road of her surrogacy journey, which has not been linear, which we know these things usually are never, but you have one heck of a story. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being open to sharing your very personal story with us.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Happy to talk. And let's get going.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get into it then.
Yeah.
Very exciting. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your story, what your life looked like kind of before your diagnosis, and what did you think your life was going to be before that?
So I was your pretty average person, found my boyfriend, and then we got married, and then we wanted to have kids. So just your typical millennial, I guess. And then after we got married in 2019, we're like, hey, let's try to have a child. We weren't actively trying, but just seeing how it would go. And then a year later, maybe close to a year, it's like, heck, this is not working. So we went to a fertility doctor, and she's like, you know what, we need to figure out what's going on. So in general, life looked normal until at that point when it happened to us, and that's when we found cancer. So it was crazy because I was 30, on my 30th birthday that happened. So imagine having cancer on your 30th birthday as a present is just unreal.
Not a present anybody wants.
No.
Yeah. I'm sorry that was happened. That's probably a day you'll never forget, and a day you never want to remember at the same time.
I know.
Yeah. And so when you first heard the words cervical cancer, what went through your mind and what were you feeling at that moment?
Yeah. So when I went into getting my diagnosis and everything, the process was okay, let's do a pop test first. And then I'm like, yeah, sure. And it was during COVID time when this all happened. So I kind of delayed my pop test for about 2 years, I would say. But I did mine 3 years prior. So everything was normal. Everything was fine. And then thank God, actually, for that fertility doctor who suggested to do the pop test. Yeah. And then that's when we found out. And at first it was oh yeah, don't worry, you'll be able to carry, it's just we can just do a incision or anything to get rid of it. It's okay. And then they did a little biopsy of it, and then that they're oh shoot, it's actually cervical cancer. So when it happened, I was actually alone because during COVID, Tommy, my husband, couldn't come in with me to the hospital. So I went in, we were on video call the entire time. And then when she told me it was cervical cancer, I was shocked, absolutely shocked. Because who would have think at age of 30, no symptom, symptom whatsoever. There was no bleeding, no pain, no nothing. And all of a sudden you get this big C word, which is insane. And when I heard it, the first thought I had was, I think I panicked a little bit, and all I can think of is, oh my God, how am I gonna have a child? Because when all of this before it happened, we were trying for almost a year. So my first thought was, you know what? I was on the phone with Tommy and I said, there are other ways to build a family, to have, the life we want. And we thought about adoption in the very beginning. So that was the first thing that came to my mind. It wasn't surrogacy. It wasn't anything like that. Because to me, surrogacy was such a foreign conversation. Like I had this idea that like only super, super rich people in America like went to surrogacy, were like celebrities. Yeah, like you have to spend like $1 trillion on surrogacy to have babies. And I didn't understand how any of that worked in Canada either. Yeah. So it was a lot. But for sure, like first thing on my mind was, dang, like we have to adopt a child somehow. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. And so when you got told you had cervical cancer, what was the conversation like with your doctor? Did they say, okay, you can preserve your fertility? Did they say, do an egg retrieval, or the surgery you're going to have, you'll still be able to carry once we take out a tumor? Or were they like, we have to get everything out? How was that discussed with your care team?
It was actually really brief of a conversation, to be honest. Like, because the healthcare system in Canada, you're like just a number, to be honest, even in that stage of your life, because they got, So when she said it, what I understood was I had two options. One is to wait and have fertility treatments. It was offered, definitely, to see if they can retrieve any eggs. Or two, just start cancer treatment and forget about fertility. The reason is because they said that my cancer was spread into like lymph nodes and all that. It was like they didn't give me like a stage, but I Googled it after. It was like stage 3, like and over, because it was spreading. Yeah. So immediately they said they have to do like a total hysterectomy, which means that like I wasn't gonna preserve my ovaries or my tubes. Even they said if I did that, they will have to lift it a little higher so that the radiation won't get to it. Yeah. However, they can't promise me that it's not going to be affected. So at that point in my life, was just like, okay, either I try something that might not work, or I save my damn life before I can't do anything else. So we just kind of decided to live first and then figure it out after.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you get told, you have cancer, you don't really, it's hard. Like, what do you think about? Do you think about living? Do you think about babies? What's the first priority in your mind, right? And so, to be honest, there's no like right or wrong way. It's just like you're in a panic mode and you don't have time. They tell you like you have to make a decision. Either you go this route or you go this route, right? And it's not like, can we bring a counselor to talk to you about it? Can we bring a counselor for nothing? You laugh. It's just like, what do you want to do? Like, these are your two options. What do you want? And you have to make a decision right there. And like things happen very quickly after that.
Yeah. And especially during COVID, because my surgery time took, and they don't tell you when. They're like, oh, wait for a call, we'll call you. So during the 3 to 4 weeks, I wait for that call to come in for additional maybe a month before I got into a surgical room.
Yeah,
it was hell, because you don't know when the day's coming, and you just feel like you're like living with this cancer in you, and you can't do anything about it. You're just waiting,
and you don't know if it's staying the same. You don't know if it's progressing. You don't know, like you're getting closer to death. You don't know. You don't know anything. You're just sitting there with this sickness in your body. Yeah. That's really mentally difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you went in for the surgery, you did a total hysterectomy, and then what did the after surgery look like for you? What was recovery? Did you do chemo? Did you do radiation? physically, emotionally? How are you? Obviously, probably not great, but how are you doing?
It was hell.
Yeah.
I don't want to scare people that are in the situation, but when that happens, like, especially when you had no repercussion, it wasn't like there was something and then you had like a bad like pop test and then like you went back for testing, there's nothing to prepare you for that kind of thing. So everything happens super quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of times they make decision like on the surgery table as well.
Yeah.
So you just come out awake and then you just trying to heal as much as you can. I had to go in for multiple surgeries because they have to go in to do different things. And after that, I went through chemo and also radiation. So it was, I think, a whole 5 to 8 weeks of radiation, which they cut short after, and which is every day. That was really, I think it took a big toll on my family as well, because someone has to drive me over there.
Yeah.
And then I had to stop working because there's no way I can handle everything at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
work just became something in the back of my mind. So your life is definitely on hold when everything happens. You have one goal, is just to get better. Yeah, survive, not die. And the chemo and everything, like when you go into these hospital rooms and I felt a little comfort because the nurses and everybody was super nice and they're very understanding. The environment is a lot more quieter given, the situation, but but everything was new. Like for me, the most difficult part was that I had to go through it alone in that sense, like because of COVID. Yeah, like you have to, I always found a funny story to tell people. It's like when you get radiation treatment, you have to get the tattoos to mark where they do it. I'm like, this is the tattoo from Phoebe from Friends. Like, I have the whole world. Like, you have to see it in a positive light in some way or form to like make humor or something out of it, or else it's like you're just surrounded by negativity all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that was something I really tried to like just talking to people, but put humor into everything you do, because if you don't do that for yourself, there's no one else can really give you that like uplifting. Yeah,
for sure. And so obviously you survived, thank goodness. You're here with us today. Woo, survivors. Me too.
Yeah.
But survivorship comes with its own set of challenges. So here you are, you passed treatment, it's such a hard time, and now you're like, oh, like, what are my next steps now? Because I've just focused this whole time on surviving, but now we have to go back to kind of family planning. What is that going to look for us now? And like, what is this new life? Because it's kind of life before cancer and then life after cancer and all the repercussions that comes with that. So how is life after treatment, after cancer? What was your new life like after that?
Immediately it was kind of scary. Like every new symptom or every new feeling you get, like let's say I have some nerve damage on my thigh area because they had to remove some lymph nodes, like a whole string lymph nodes. And the healing process of that, like it really caused like a mental toll on you, because you're experiencing new symptoms or new feelings, sensations, or even the recovery process is very different because you never been through this, like the biggest pain I felt probably like I hit my funny bone, before all of this. And in life is just so different. You're on edge, for me at least personally, a lot. It's like every little thing, you're so super sensitive to anything that's happening in your body. Like, oh, what if this is something else? Does this mean that? You start questioning things. So a lot of anxiety I never felt before, like definitely surfaced. And the funny thing was, my husband, he has never been like an anxious person. He's like the super chill guy who like doesn't really like mind, or like super relaxed. And then he had the worst tension or like stress headache after the last round of my chemo was done, that he was bedridden for like entire month. We done MRIs and everything from like, he's fine, but just showing you how much
pressure and anxiety.
Yeah, not just for the person that's going through it, but the people around the patient, I guess. And for someone who can like take a hit really emotionally, he really took a hit. And he even tells me today, I'm like, oh, you know, I had a tension headache for you, so I love you. And like, he always uses that as like something we talk about. So but it definitely shows you like how it affects the people around you in your life.
The caregivers are always affected. I think caregivers don't get enough kind of applause because it is very hard to be the person that is going through the health treatment, but it's also very hard to be the caregiver because I know you want to do so much as a caregiver, but you can't. So you're just watching the person that you love go through all of this horrible stuff and you can't do anything about it, right? And you have to take on their pain without being able to do anything. So yeah. Props to Tommy over there.
Super tough, but he made it through.
He made it through. We all made it through. So tell me how you guys kind of got back into the conversation of family planning. Like, did you speak about adoption first? Did you go straight to surrogacy? How did surrogacy even come up? Because it wasn't on your radar before.
Okay, so going back, this is going to be a long journey to talk about, but we wanted adoption. We're like, hey, let's look into that. So there's actually not a lot of information online or anywhere. We had a friend whose wife was in like that, not service, but like that section of government where they help with children adopting and everything. So we gave her a call. We're like, how the hell does this stuff work? Like, how can we help? How can we like be in the process, you know? And it's a long process that at the end we weren't even eligible for. So for us, because of the cancer diagnosis, I'm not eligible to adopt in like 99% of the country, like not in my own country. And then so we looked into like Korea, and then China closed their doors as well, and a bunch of like Asian countries, because we have to go through like this course you have to take, and then it comes with like a huge book, and we did training sessions weeks on weeks to be certified. And come out of all of that, you have to get home study done as well. So it means that like a social worker will come to your house and evaluate if your house is safe, if you are safe, mentally safe to do this. And then we learn through all this process that when you have a child, the adoption, the whole, I guess, service and things like that, they cater to the child, and which I agree, like they want the best for the child. The child's best intention come first. So they would, like, because I'm an immigrant and from Asian descent, if they have a child available in Canada that's not Asian, they would send that child to their own cultural first, like someone that, like, let's say you are Hispanic or something like that, then they will send a family more suited for your cultural background. So, and the chances of somebody in my culture giving up the child is like almost zero in the system. So the chance of me getting a child, even especially a newborn, it's like almost impossible in Canada. And so our friend told us that the likelihood of anybody in our position to adopt will be a child over 7 and plus, and which is fine for me, but it's just, you don't even know if you're going to get that chance. You're going to be on this long wait list, and then you have no idea. It's just you're on a list and you just wait for a call one day, and that call might never come. So we looked into open adoption, closed adoption, like international adoption. We got to the point we got even a lawyer and things like that, and to realize that we're not eligible because of the cancer diagnosis. You have to wait 5 whole years from your cancer free in order to be like start applying,
which is usually about 10 years total.
Yeah, which means, and it's not even a guarantee.
No.
And a lot of times, which I found so surprising for international adoption, is that, let's say a mother, like a birth mother, chooses you and she's giving her child to you. You might not receive that child in your like custody until 2 years or older because of the legal system, everything like that. So a lot of people, they're like, oh, why didn't you just adopt? Well, it's not that simple. I tried. I have tried. All the countries rejected me. So like if I don't go through surrogacy, to this year marks my 5th year of being cancer free, which means now I can be eligible to start even applying and going through all the process. And God knows like how long that's going to take. So the reason why we like went into surrogacy is because we looked at the cost of an international adoption, and it ranged around like $80,000, to be honest. And we're like, well, is there other ways that we can build families? And we looked into surrogacy, and it's not as the pricing was like in the same ballpark, I would say. So that we didn't realize, I think it's the cost really that kind of threw us off in the very beginning. And then we realized maybe it's possible if we just saved a little more, if you don't have to figure out all your like finances at one go. You can like continue saving as your process go through. And that kind of gave us a little bit hope. And also Canada is just financially more affordable versus US, and when it comes to that, so agency fees and things like that. And also as you know, like healthcare, like we have free healthcare, so that really helps with a lot of things, insurance and things like that. So we're like, okay, well, if it's like maybe 20K more or 30K more, maybe it's doable, if we just like sold our house or something. So like that kind of just brought us into the surrogacy route, because the adoption is going to be just too difficult for us.
And so, okay, so what was the first step that you took towards your surrogacy journey? Did you start with a clinic? Because of course, like you need embryos, right? So did you start with a clinic, or did you find somebody who had been through it? Did you Google? What did you do?
We Googled, but logically speaking, we're like, shoot, I don't have any eggs. So let's get some eggs somehow. And then we looked online, and there was not much information, to be honest, as well. Like you can Google all day long, but they're kind of hidden behind websites where it's just legal jargon, things like that. And what we ultimately kind of found was like agency sites for clinics, because we knew that we have to make embryos. So it's not even about surrogacy at this point. Like we have to make a viable embryo first. And so we looked at clinics and things like that. The first step we did was freeze Tommy's sperm. And it was really funny because you got to keep that warm. So he will like hide it in his jacket. And the closest sperm like clinic area was in Mississauga, and we live in Scarborough. So it's like an hour drive. So he will like keep his little babies warm and like trying to get there. And then we even thought about maybe he just like, do it some like closer by or something like that. It was like
in the car, like COVID times. Like when it's not COVID, you're able to do your drop off at the clinic in the rooms. But during COVID, same thing with Dom. Like he had to do it at home and then put it in under his armpit, or like they tell you could put it in like your crotch, and you have to drive it all the way to the clinic. And like, it's like, oh my God, like I have to keep them safe.
I know. It was so funny. And then I think he had to get them also tested as well to see like if there's something with him, if he needs to,
male factor.
So we got that done. And then we're like, okay, we need to find an egg donor. And then that was very difficult, because you can go to a egg bank and purchase eggs, but they're not fresh eggs, they're already frozen. And you had to buy per egg or per batch or whatever it is. They charge by the piece. And egg donation in Canada is also like surrogacy. So people are doing it because they want to do it. They're not getting paid. They're getting reimbursed for all the things, but they're not really getting payment for it. And then we felt like, okay, but our clinic told us that if you want a better chance or more like yields, you should find a fresh donor, which means you need to find a person who's willing to do that for you, go through IVF, everything. And whatever you take out from that cycle will belong to you, but a number is not a promising number. Like no one can promise you how much they can take out. So we're like, okay, now we're gonna find an egg donor. And what's really good about our clinic, we're with Tripod, by the way, and they gave us like a whole sheet of people that we can reach out to. So we just called on the list, and then we called a bunch of other places that I won't name, but the only place that really responded back to us was our surrogacy agency. So we just called them up, and they had a really transparent database. So they had the egg donor profile there. You can look at them, and then all of them are there. You can read about their history, and if you want to learn more, you can like request like more detailed profiles, which was really nice. So we felt pretty confident with them, and then we ended up choosing someone from there, which she's coming to my baby shower. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, wow. How was that process? Like choosing, did you get to talk to her before like you chose her? And like how's your relationship afterwards?
Yeah. So we really wanted an egg donor that we can connect with in the long term, because heck, she's like half of her DNA, like our kid's DNA. So like I really want our child to be confident in who she is, and then also like know like just confident in her identity, right? Like how she become, and then everything about her. So we want the egg donor to be a part of our lives as much as possible. And then I think it's a great thing to have for like medical history and things like that too.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in any of this. So like we don't want that. We don't want our daughter to feel anything like that sort of feeling. So when we looked for an egg donor, we really emphasized like, we really want a relationship with you too. Like it doesn't have to be like everyday talking, but like we will want to like keep up with your life and like show you pictures, and like just I'm not scared. Like a lot of people will ask me like, aren't you scared that she's gonna, your daughter's gonna love her more, or like your daughter's gonna, like want to be with him? Like, no.
Yeah.
Because I know that when you raise your child, like you're that child's life.
Yeah.
You're the mom of that
Family
child.
is not only in the DNA.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't have any of those kind of feelings, but I know I've spoken to a lot of like other people in that position, and they're very scared of that, and which I understand, because it's a lot of worry and insecurity around that. But one thing my mom really taught me was like, we have a dog and she's not even human. So my mom's like, if we can love a different species, like, and they can love you back in that way, like what is stopping, what is different than a child, a human. So that really like spoke to me and made me feel more confident in doing this. But yeah, we have a great relationship. And the great thing about like egg donor is that at least for our profile wise, you're able to see their history. There was a lot of pictures we can look at, and their baby pictures really cute. And then you can see where they're from and like about their story. And we got on a call with her, and then we talked for a while, and then we just felt like there was a good connection and easy to talk to and a lot in common. And she's just absolutely a great human being. Like I know surrogates is like brave, but egg donors are something else. Like it's crazy just what they have to go through, and like for infertility and those things.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're at the egg donor stage. You got your eggs, you got your fresh eggs, you made embryos. Now you're ready to find a surrogate. Take us through your surrogacy journey from A all the way to now, which is very exciting where you are right now, like yay, but take us through that journey and buckle up.
Okay, so we went through 3 surrogacy journeys. 2 of them didn't work, and then the last one is perfect.
Yeah.
So I definitely have a comparison in what is supposed to happen versus what can go wrong in all ways. So our first one, we made it. So in a surrogacy journey, for those who might not know, you have to, the surrogate has to choose you in Canada to essentially like a volunteer job to help a family to carry for them. And there's no compensation, there's no reimbursement of like travel expenses and things like that. So this woman literally doing a selfless deed of a gift that you can't compare in any other form.
Yeah.
And I think it's such an amazing thing for anybody in that position to offer that to someone else. And for us, we found our first surrogate through our agency. And I just want to say that I think everybody coming to be a surrogate might have good intentions, but there are just sometimes that people are either blinded or didn't expect or just weren't educated or whatever the reason is. It doesn't end up being a positive experience for anybody involved.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to believe, like they will have a good intent, because our first surrogate really loved animals. So I'm like, to my mind, it's like, how can someone love animals, be so mean to people? So that, like, I never understood that, but I really want to keep the positive light of human beings in general. So we got into the contract stage. So in surrogacy, you have to get medically cleared. So they have to do exams on you. You got to do like sonograms and things like that to make sure you're good to, be caring. Yeah. And then we got through that. We invited her to our house, and then we're going to go through, we even went through legals. Everything was done.
Yeah.
And then she I think she felt very comfortable with us at that point. And then we learned a lot of psychological, I guess, diagnoses of her that came to light that we weren't aware of. And if that was the case, she wouldn't have passed her psych eval. And looking back, because we were in a position of waiting for, I think, 6 months to match with somebody, it was our first surrogate. We just felt like, oh my God, I will say yes to anybody that said yes to me, because you are that desperate at that point or any point in the beginning. And we just, I don't know if people know, but like the numbers of like surrogates to intended parents, like it's crazy. Like I heard numbers from like 1 to 100, 1 to 60. So in Canada, it's very difficult to be matched with a surrogate. And when we did, it didn't matter like who she was at that point. Like we would accept anybody
to have been chosen.
Yeah. Like I felt really blessed even to this day that she chose us, but things don't work out. And then we kind of just cut off all communication. It was really hard for us too, because we did build a relationship. Like we talked every day, and then it was really sad for everybody involved that it didn't work out. And we felt really hurt too. So that's first one. And then we had the privilege of matching with a second surrogate through our agency as well. She was very local. And we saw her like pretty often. I think for all the appointments, we're able to be there. It's quite nice. In the beginning, we're very chatty and talked about trying to find common grounds of things. And sometimes you can't relate on every single thing in your life. You want to be able to find common topics you can connect with. And so we did that for a while, and then it felt all okay. She's not as talkative as like me, I talk all day, but more reserved. So I'm like, that's fine, as long as, we can have open communication, like healthy communication.
Yeah, you don't have to be best friends. You just have to be able to get along and have good communication and help each other.
Yeah. So that went on for a while, and then we got to a point of a transfer, the first transfer, and then just medically, it was very draining for everybody. We did a medical cycle, it didn't work out, and then we had to try again for a different way. So we did a natural cycle. So medicated cycles, like you are on medication, and then basically they're inducing a fake cycle, and then to make your hormones happen when it's supposed to happen, as if you're getting pregnant, and they will find the best time. And it's very calculative, that you can put your embryo in the transfer date and then pray that happens. But for a natural cycle, it's like you let your body do what it needs to do, maybe with some support of hormone here and there, but it's not a lot of
medication.
You're not forcing it. Yeah. So she did well on that one. And then we had a second transfer. And unfortunately, she was pregnant, and then we lost it. That one was just devastating because it was supposed to go in for a heartbeat. And we didn't. It was actually one of the more traumatic experience. I think it's on the same level as cancer diagnosis for me personally, because it's like you had it and then it's gone. So we went into the clinic. She wanted to do her ultrasound, and then the nurse just like, she wants her privacy, so maybe they want to check stuff off first. So we just waited outside, and then the nurse came out like pretty quick. So she came out and she's like, sorry, I didn't find a heartbeat. And that was it. Like we couldn't, it was honestly very difficult way to find out what has happened. Yeah, like it was in the hallways, and it was just really shocking because we were we're expecting good news at that point. There was nothing going wrong. And then it just no heartbeat, and they couldn't even find a sac, which means that the baby, we have lost it like pretty early on. It wasn't just like a day before, an hour before.
So, implanted and stopped growing, basically.
Yeah. And then we're like, why is this happening? We didn't do anything wrong. Like everything's going fine. Like her test strips were super positive. Her betas were super positive. It was like in the thousands. So like, what's the reason for this to happen? And then the doctor did some blood tests, and then we found out that like there wasn't enough progesterone in her body at the point. So doctor has some suspicions of things, and then we just decided that because we were doing so much progesterone, if she's not either absorbing it or something's going on, like there's a reason why there's not enough progesterone. So which means like she can't continue to be a surrogate, because she can't hold on to a medicated pregnancy in that sense. So we just mutually kind of unmatched at that point, but it was devastating. That was 2 embryos gone. We have 6 in total. So that's 2 gone, 2 surrogate.
And every embryo is so precious.
Absolutely. Yeah. And at that point, we're just kind of like, like, what does it take to have a baby? Like, what do I have to do? Like, how much, like, it was just, I was on the verge of giving up, but then I know I still have 4 embryos, like, and we're still relatively young. So we're going to just keep on trying. And that's kind of where we ended up with our second surrogate. So for our third surrogate, her name is Megan.
We love Megan.
Yes, we love Megan. And how I met her is a very interesting story. So we met through my agency, but we didn't match when we first met. So there was another couple she was talking to, and that couple is actually like our friend too. Like we became friends through everything. They're not in Canada or anything, but when they came over, like we had dinner and everything. We still keep in touch. It's interesting or like surprising that you can make friends, like genuine friendships in what people think is competitive environment. And we made friends. So she decided to carry for them when we were talking. And when our second match broke, I called Megan, and I wasn't expecting to like anything out of it. I was just calling to rant. I'm like, oh my God, guess what happened? Like this happened. And at that point, I think she only gave birth like maybe a week or two prior, like at the most. So she's like still recovering.
Yeah.
And then we talked until maybe like midnight or later that night. And then she's like, don't give up, or trying to be very encouraging, things like that. And then I believe she kind of hinted a little bit. She's like, maybe I'll just care for you. And then I took it as a joke. And I'm like, girl, you just gave birth. Like,
you gave birth.
You chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but then I was talking to Tommy, and then maybe a week, or I can't remember. It was all a blur at that point. And I said, were you serious? Like, she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And then we talked.
Oh, are we matched? What's happening right now?
Yeah. Like, we talked through the logistics, and like, it just happened. Like, for somebody to just give birth and then offering this kind of help, it's incredible. Like, I can't forget that moment. Like, we weren't physically together when it happened, but we sent a photo, she sent a photo, we're like, just, yeah, we're matched. And then it was such a special moment. And it's kind of funny because the people that you end up on journey with might not be the first person that you talk to. Like, it might not happen right away, but having that support system, having people, like, you have to be really open-minded. And I know a lot of intended parents, they end up matching like maybe a couple months or like a year later after they meet the person. So it's not just like a linear process for people. And I'm a great example of that.
Yeah. Which I think is so important to share because, a lot of the times the mindset is I'm going to look and the first person, like, and then when it doesn't go that way, you think, is there something wrong? Why didn't this work? But there are a lot of intended parents that have, unfortunately, more than one journey before it becomes successful. And it just shows that, like, when you don't give up, you might get the chance to get to your end goal, which is very much yours and Tommy's case. And now, where are you right now?
We are going to be 33 or 4. I can't count anymore, like towards the end, but tomorrow will be 33 weeks. Maybe I'm wrong. If Megan, you're listening, I'm so sorry.
Megan actually just commented and she said 6 days, Irene. 6 days postpartum. Best decision ever. Yes. Best decision. I agree. I love it. Yeah. 6. Yeah. So 33 weeks. I think we're a week apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is so much fun because we're going to have play dates. But yeah, it's so much fun. And it's so wonderful that, after all of this that you guys have been through, that you are here right now and that you're you're having your baby shower this weekend. Like, so amazing that you are here and we're so excited for you. Okay, let us talk about more stuff. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. So raw and so open. It could be hard to rehash all of that, especially when you're in a very different place right now. Like, coming back and bringing that all up is a lot when you think about it.
It is 33 weeks tomorrow.
It is 33 weeks tomorrow. Woo, woo. So actually, we're like
2 weeks.
We're just 2 days apart because we were 33 weeks on Monday. We are 2 days apart.
No way.
Oh my God. Are you ready?
No.
Yeah. That's okay. It'll be fine. So let me ask you, you gave up a lot, Irene. You're getting a lot, but you also gave up a lot, right? So you gave up the ability to use your own eggs. you gave up the ability to carry. You've given up a lot of things that are usually a very intimate process to a person.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of fear and vulnerability in that. So how did you find the strength to trust your family building journey to so many people? What was your driving force in that?
Yeah. So first thing is you have no choice. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, Irene, you're so strong. Irene, like you're like." No, you have no choice. Like you have no choice but to be strong. And I think as like a mother to be or any mother right now, like you have no choice but to do what you need to do for your child, for your family. So I think in my case it's like very similar, where I didn't see a second option for me and for Tommy. It's like if I choose to give up, if I'm not going to have grit and get back up again, then it's not going to happen for us. And I think we just want this so much that nothing is going to like get in like
The way.
to stop us. Yeah. And for family building, it's, I think you really have to know that if this is something you truly want. And for me it's kind of interesting because I never went to fertility treatments because I was cut off right before I was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't know what's like to go through a egg cycle, retrieval cycle. I don't know what it's like to do IVF. In a way, I used to joke with Megan, I still do. I'm like, me and Tommy's kind of like two intended fathers in a way, where we're just like, how can I support you? I don't know what this feels like. Like
Yeah.
I don't know pregnancy. You know, I never been through loss in that sense. I never been through the needles and things like that. So it's very foreign topic for me as well. So emotionally, it's kind of different for me.
Yep.
So the baggage I come with is more of the loss of being involved rather than the loss of like being able to. I don't know if that makes sense.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Like being involved in the process versus being able.
Yeah, because I was never going to be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So it's a little different. So I can relate to Tommy a bit more than like if I've been through like miscarriages and things like that myself. Yeah. So in a way, I used to tell my friends who like had been through that themselves that I think that's really tough, and they think that going through cancer is really tough. But I personally, like, my point of view is it is so much harder, I think, to have it and lose it, because I felt that with our second surrogate, than to like never had it at all and never felt the pain. So I think people that had a different experience than me in a different position are so tough, because they have to fight that battle and then fight this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
What has been some of the biggest emotional lessons or surprises for you along this whole entire journey? That's a good question.
I think people just need to have grit. Just really go after what you want and don't give up. Just don't give up. But also, I also feel like if you know this is your end, if this is like the end of your journey, it's not shameful to give up either. But if you still want this, you have to have grit. Even though those like micro moments are super tough to get through, you know, tomorrow's going to be a different day. What you're feeling is temporary, and that it will be better.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's not like fully better, because I don't think people can ever forget this kind of things, but you can definitely find a joy, find a people, find a support you need from your family, your friends, and I've been very blessed to have parents who are very supportive, and my like mother-in-law, very supportive. She has called me when I had my cancer diagnosis, and like coming from a traditional like culture, it really shocked me when she was like, "Oh, it's okay if you don't want kids. Like, I just want you and Tommy to be happy." And like that took so much pressure off of me, even though I give myself pressure, but
Yeah.
like having that
outside generational cultural pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my work like has been phenomenal. They were really supportive the whole thing. Like my boss will ask me all the time, how's it going? Everything. They follow me on social. It was kind of, I have to like be on my best behavior, but
Say naughty things. Yes.
yeah. So having a huge support, even just let's say your people in your life don't understand, educate them. They can just learn through what you're going through, and you should be proud that you're doing this. It's not shameful. This is not a shameful act whatsoever. This is kindness from once a stranger, to now someone that you can call your friend and family. So it's actually really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And so looking back now, if you met someone who's just received a cancer diagnosis and is worried about their fertility, what would you say to them?
You live first. Doesn't matter what stage you are. Figure out your health first, because your baby one day is going to need you to take care of them. So take care of yourself first. Everything can wait. Like, it's not the end of the world, and just take care of your family, take care of your health. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. And that is something.
Wealth.
Yep. So fertility, definitely, it's something that I think affect women deeply, but life is important. So take care of yourself first. Yeah.
What do you wish more people understood about egg donation and about surrogacy, especially when it's chosen out of medical necessity? Like, let's not talk about celebrities because whatever. But like when it's chosen out of medical necessity, what do you want people to understand about egg donation and about surrogacy?
I think doesn't matter what part of the world that's happening in. It is something that people in my position, it's not the first thing to wake up be like, oh, I want to do this because I had a choice. No one has a choice. We're here because literally this is my last choice. Like, I have nightmares about me just going to kindergartens and just taking a child. So this is the only choice like people in my position have, and I wish people can treat this as like more kindness and more understanding. And that I want people to understand that this is out of love, and it's not something that you should be ashamed of, and something that like it's okay to do. Like, this is just a different way to build a family, and for most of us, it's the only way to build a family. Yeah.
I love that. Finally, what gives you hope today besides this little girl that you're expecting, of course? As a survivor, as an intended mom, as a woman who's walked through so much to get here, just a word of hope for somebody else that may be going through something similar. What gives you hope?
I think it's a couple of things. One is that I really love sunny days. So when I see that, like, I remember during treatment time, I would just sit outside my yard and look at the trees. Like, it was during fall, like summertime. And that really, like, you need to look forward to those good moments and just change your perspective on everyday's little things. And when you see something positive, I hope that gives you hope in knowing that like there are people in similar positions, but they're getting through it every day. You're not alone in any of this. And that people like Megan, people like you, people like the whole community here, like, we have this special club, I would say, that no one else, in a way, I feel like it's a privilege to be able to be on a surrogacy journey.
Yeah.
And that is the hope I wish everybody will have, in that one day they'll have, the baby in their arms, and knowing that like people have walked this path before and have succeeded. So why not them, right? Not like, why not you?
Yeah.
Like, if someone else can do it, why not you? So knowing that success has been done, you should feel comfort in that it's doable.
Yeah.
And strive for it.
Yeah. Irene, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all your honesty and just being raw with us and being vulnerable and sharing your whole entire story and your heart. So many people watching, whether they're navigating infertility, cancer, surrogacy, I know they will find comfort and strength in the words that you shared with us today. And yeah, I think your journey is a very good reminder for people that, things don't always go easy. You could be watching all these things on social media and you think, oh my gosh, like that's not like my journey. Is there something?
Nobody's journey.
That's nobody's journey. Whatever you see on there is nobody's journey. I'll tell you that much. So yeah, so like don't take that as face value and know that, more than one person has gone through more than one journey. It's very common. And, not all journeys are easy. Not all journeys are linear, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible, that it's impossible. It is very, very possible. And so it just reminds us that, hope in parenthood can take many. Aw, Megan.
Isn't she the best? She's the best, honestly.
She's watching your episode. Do you have any notes? Just kidding. But, every path to parenthood, they can take different forms and many forms, but they're all valid and they're all meaningful. And, it doesn't matter which way you get there. It's just, you're going to be a parent no matter what. So that is fantastic. And I just loved hearing your story and I love chatting with you and it was great. So thank you so, so much for sharing with us and for being vulnerable and open. And thanks for your appearance, Megan. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for being on Fertility Village Live. Tune in next week for another wonderful episode where we have a cool announcement. Oh no, that's the episode after. Next week we have a very cool episode as well. And yeah, thanks so much for being part of the village.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bye.